Do you want to know how to make friends? Do you want to know how to be more popular in 2025 and beyond? Let's talk about it. Hey there, I'm Jen. I'm a mindset coach and I'm here to help you uplevel your life starting on the inside. And today we're going to talk about how to get people to like you because that is a true superpower in your life. Getting people to like you is going to come in handy in so many areas. It'll help you at work. It'll help you if you're an entrepreneur like me talking to a camera. It will help you in your friendships and in your love life. However, this is another one of those things that we were never taught in school. Your parents probably didn't take you aside and teach you how to be a likable person or how to be that person who attracts friendships and becomes quote unquote popular. And let me tell you that I should know because I did this the hard way. When I was a little kid, I was the least popular kid many times. I changed schools every year from first grade to seventh grade, I think. So I was always the new kid. I was always having to make friends. And I went through a pretty big, ugly duckling, shy kid era, like actually more than one. So I never had that skill. Like I never felt like I was included or liked or popular throughout basically my whole entire school life. Now, fast forward to now, it's not like I'm the most popular person in the world. I'm not that person who absolutely knows everybody, but I know a lot of people. I tend to get along with people pretty well now. I feel pretty comfortable in most social situations. I feel like I can chat with almost anybody. These are all skills that I actually have built up over a lifetime, obviously. But this all really came to a head when I left Canada and moved to Europe and didn't know anybody here, basically. I had to learn how to rebuild my social circle from scratch. And I can tell you, I feel a lot more comfortable doing that and talking about this stuff now than before. Because until that point, I still thought of myself as that unpopular, shy little kid. So it has taken me a lot of work to deprogram myself from that. And today we're not going to talk about the shyness thing so much. That is a huge topic unto itself. For today, I wanted to give you two big tips that are going to help you to become more likable, more lovable, more popular. And we'll teach you how to make friends as an adult. They say you can't make friends as an adult, and I like to counter that point. So I have two tips to share with you guys today, and we're going to start to talk first about what you're going to talk about in these social situations. I know my fair share of socially awkward people, and as I said, I was a socially awkward person for a very long time, and I still am sometimes. But one of the things I hear from socially awkward people when it comes to making new friends is, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. I just don't know what to do when I get there, so I just freeze and look at my phone and ignore everybody, etc., etc. So maybe you don't outright freeze when you're in situations with new people, but maybe you are that person who is having a lot of angst of meeting somebody new and not having any idea of what to talk about. Breaking the ice and getting those first words out can be so difficult. And I know that there's a lot of judgment out there. Like people will tell you, don't ask what somebody does for a living. Because if you ask what they do for a living, if they're not really cool with what they do currently, then it feels like you're judging them on something that isn't really their fault. And that's not a good way to get off on a first foot in a conversation. I do tend to ask that, but I don't want to dwell there too much. Like it's not really so interesting to me what people do for a living. If you want to ask that question or if you don't, I'm going to leave that up to you. But I find that is still a pretty neutral way for most people to engage in those first few words. And sometimes you just need those first few words to begin so that you can get the ball rolling. If you are having an internal freak out about this, or if you think that you are offending people, my best advice to you is to not really rehearse this too much. Like, I don't want you to have a pre-rehearsed script. Sometimes those can be helpful. Maybe you can come up with a really funny or clever phrase that will get people talking. But my favorite tip for you and the best way to make friends and to get people to like you in any situation, whether this is your job interview, whether this is your first date, it is so much easier than you think. You just ask questions. Being popular isn't about you having the perfect icebreaker or having the perfect thing to say or having the perfect way to describe yourself. It's none of those things. But if you can be interested in somebody and if you can ask true, engaging, earnest questions of them, they're going to like you. And it doesn't really matter what the questions are about. So that is my number one biggest tip for you. If you are trying to land a job interview, if you are on a first date with somebody, forget for the most part. I mean, in a job interview, you have to think about how to present yourself, but for the most part, you don't have to worry about that stuff so much. What I want you to do is to start to create a personal connection with the person you are talking to. You are not monologuing to them. You do not have to come up with a perfect joke. All you need to do is to become interested in what they are saying and to ask them questions. So now I know you're going to say, so how do I do that if I just got to a party and I've never met this person before? How do I get them to that point where I can ask questions? You can just ask them the most simple question, like, do you like this song? How do you know the host? I really like your sweater. Where did you get it from? Like, we can start at these very basic small questions and start the ball rolling from there. I really like this tactic as a former recovered shy person because I don't have to do much talking. All I have to do is to be curious, listen, and keep asking questions. That will keep the conversation going back and forth, usually for quite a long time. People will actually tend to go on about themselves for quite a while. Some people will go on about themselves eternally if you let them, without ever asking you a question in return. So if you are a shy person, if you struggle with social anxiety, if you just freak yourself out before a party, wondering what you're going to talk about, don't make it about you. Start asking questions, and that is going to be the biggest game changer that you will ever have. The second tip I have for you today is to just be warm, to have this warm era, to just be that kind of person who you know is smiling and nodding and listening and saying yes. They are paying attention. You don't have to stare them down, but you do have to look like you are in the conversation, like you are giving your actual energy back to the person in front of you. So that means you're not zoning out and looking at your phone. You're not changing eye contact to stare at other people in the room, wondering who you're going to talk to next. That means you are giving this person your undivided attention. You're maybe smiling and you are having some sort of direct eye contact. Doesn't have to be constant eye contact, but doing that will literally show this person that you are listening, that you are paying attention, and that you are giving them signals to continue the conversation. I can tell you from my own personal experience how horrible it feels when somebody asks you a question and they immediately turn their eyes away, look at somebody else, or the very worst, start to look at their phone and say something like, I'm listening. We just know that they're not listening, right? So of course you're not going to continue to want to speak to that person. Being warm isn't necessarily about laughing on cue or constantly smiling or constantly making eye contact like a crazy person, but it is a combination of these things. You have to show up and do this in real time. You have to show that you are paying attention to this person in front of you. The one thing that every single person on this planet loves the most is feeling like they are being listened to. This starts when we are little babies and we needed our mothers to listen to us for our cries for attention or bids for affection. And that has continued to us to this day. These two tips are going to really help you to do that. Asking engaging questions and being warm and open and receptive to the person as they are speaking. Those two skills alone are going to make you a very likable person. Popular people are not the people who know the most people, that have the most amount of good friends, that have the perfect jokes, that have the perfect outfits. It's not really about any of that stuff. It's whether or not those people show that they are liking other people. So basically, the person that likes the most people and shows that warm, excited, engaged contact with the most people ends up becoming the most popular person, because we tend to assign those same values to the person who is talking to us. When they are showing that to us, we believe it about them. So the good news here, it is such a hack for you to become popular, for you to make more friends, for you to become more likable. All you have to do is to ask questions and be warm and to genuinely like other people. That really helps. But those things are going to take you a long way and really transform your social life. And again, I am a former shy, awkward person, and I completely stand by these 2 tips. We all need close, amazing friendships in our life. And again, it's not just about friendships, it's about creating a new romance in your life. It is about landing that job interview. The process of becoming likable can turn into so many benefits. So if you feel like you are lacking in this area for one reason or another, I really hope this video today has empowered you to take back control and to try out these tips. Thank you so much for watching, my future popular person. If you like this video, please give it a like or give me 5 stars if you are listening on Spotify. Send it to a friend who might need this message, and I will see you back here in the next one.